10 more minutes, so I'd like to go over just a couple of more numbers for next week's show. I know several of you have to leave early, so we'll start with the guys. Whiff and Poof song. Okay, now think Glee Club, think nice blending sound, breeze, work from here. Okay. Next Saturday. We'll go over a couple of things before the show starts. And thank you all very much. See you later.
We'll try to make the next rehearsal, but we have to go over to Turkey Island to serve the meals to Miss Maple's house guests.
Okay. We'll see you all later. Cheerio.
Must you always carry that thing everywhere you go?
I like to keep it very sharp. You never know when I'm going to need to use it.
Oh, come along. We'll miss the boat to Turkey Island.
shout, Haversham. No one in this house is deaf that I know of.
Oh, it's you, Miss Osborough. I thought it was Miss Maple I heard coming down the stairs.
She'll be along directly. Can you see how many have come over on the motorboat?
Not from this distance, the fog's rolling in. She said they'd all come, though.
Did she?
New hat?
Never mind this hat box.
No need to get jangled, I was only asking.
You tend to your duties, and I'll tend to mine.
You tend to your duties, I'll tend to mine.
Have my guests arrived?
Oh, Ken.
Almost here.
Not one of them will fail to show up. I guarantee it.
You don't even know them.
That's what will make this weekend such fun. You mustn't say I don't know them. I know them quite well.
But Miss Osborough said you were strangers to one another.
In one sense, that is correct. In another sense, that is erroneous. Oh. I do wish you wouldn't sniffle. It's distracting.
No, ma'am.
And at dinner, please don't wipe your nose on your apron.
Yes, ma'am.
What's the matter with your uniform?
How do you mean, Miss Maple?
It looks large enough for half a dozen people. Can't you take it in?
Wouldn't do no good. No matter what I wear, looks like a potato sack.
Perhaps if you wouldn't sniffle, no one would notice the uniform.
Yes, ma'am.
Where is Rita?
I'm right here, Miss Maple.
Oh, you startled me. You do have a habit of creeping up on one.
Like poison ivy.
Havisham, you're forgetting yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Rita, where is my guest list? I seem to have misplaced it.
It's right here on the desk, Miss Maple.
Oh, the most logical place. No wonder I didn't think of it. Oh, you're quite certain you can handle the kitchen?
Won't be no trouble once the cook and helper hurry up and get here.
The agency said we could expect them later this evening. It was the best they could do.
We'll manage. The list, Rita.
Beg pardon, Miss Maple. I don't think I understood.
Understood what?
You said your weekend guests were strangers, yet they weren't?
Oh, I mean, I know them by their writings.
I don't expect Havisham reads a great deal.
Surely you've read a mystery or two?
Can't say that I have. I like gothic romances and stories about nurses in love with doctors. And once in a while I enjoy a horror comic if the cover is gory enough.
Merciful heavens!
Ladies, please, I insist on decorum at all times.
Of course.
Whatever you say, ma'am.
Each of these guests is a famous mystery writer. He or she is not coming as himself, or herself, as the case may be. He or she is coming as his or her creation.
Creation?
Each of these guests will spend the weekend as his or her alter ego.
I don't think she understands.
I'm trying to.
They will arrive as the detective hero or heroine of their books. They will not use their real names or personalities. They're coming from all over the country. Jolly fun.
Yes, ma'am.
I do suspect they know of my little project, however. Few mystery writers don't, despite all the secrecy.
Little project?
It's no concern of yours.
No, ma'am.
Just see that the biscuits are warm and the sherry room temperature.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, let me see. We have Louis Fan, the famous Oriental detective, and Father White. He uses the psychological method. And Peter Flimsy, he's very much in the Sherlock Holmes school.
He's a student?
Havisham, you're quite hopeless.
I suppose I am.
Run down to the beach and guide them up.
I wish the cook and helper would hurry up and get here.
suited to this work.
I promised the parole people I'd give her a home. We must be patient with her.
Parole people? You mean she's an ex-convict?
I mean, she's still a convict.
Still a convict?
Rita, stop repeating everything I say. You're sounding like a minor bird. The truth is simple enough. She's on a work program.
Work program? Oh, sorry.
If she works out well, her sentence is reduced and she's put on permanent parole. Much will depend on my report.
What was her, crime?
I don't recall exactly. Some unpleasantness with a hatchet, I
A
believe.
hatchet?
Compose yourself, Rita. There'll be quite enough melodrama once my guests arrive. Chandler Marlowe. Now there's a man to be reckoned with. Seedy, down and out, but intelligent in a brutish sort of way. A true male chauvinist.
I wished I had known about Havisham before I took this job. She doesn't like me, you know.
And Rick and Laura Carlyle, what a witty couple. So urbane, so sophisticated. I'll enjoy their company.
Unpleasantness with a hatchet? That could mean just about anything. What if the storm lasts as long as it did last week? We were cut off for 2 days.
Oh, we're well stocked with foodstuffs. No worry.
Havisham. I recall that name. It was a famous case.
I must admit I had second thoughts about inviting Charity Hayes. A bit too much like James Bond for my taste. Still, she is a superb bridge player. All in all, a delightful menage.
Come on along, she's waiting. Let you go across before the storm.
Oh, they've arrived. Excellent.
Must be Miss Maple. Delighted, delighted.
I'm not Miss Maple.
Oh.
I am Miss Maple.
Oh, I'd know you anywhere. Delighted, delighted.
You must be Father White.
How did you guess?
Oh, hardly a guess. Your clerical collar.
My. First rule of psychological detection. Disregard the obvious. Concentrate on the possible. I might be Louis Fan in disguise.
Oh, touche. You're a master. My social secretary and companion, Miss Islesbarrow.
How do you do, my dear?
Welcome to Turkey Island.
To the best of my knowledge, the only one other island in history was called Turkey. A battle was fought there, in the Aegean Sea. What century BC? The Spartans versus the Maltese.
I don't think there's any connection. This island used to be a turkey farm.
Please be seated. Sherry and warm biscuits shortly. I wonder who this could be.
Take a look at this broken nose, sister. These brown eyes and this jar of stone. It ain't Charity Hayes.
No, it ain't. Oh, Mr. Marlowe, you're a wonder. Your dialogue is infectious.
I know.
My social secretary and companion, Miss Islesbarrow.
I'll do, sister.
Welcome to Turkey Island.
Thrilled.
Please be seated. Sherry and warm biscuits shortly.
Sherry and warm biscuit shortly.
Unmistakably Mr. Fan.
First rule of Far East detection. Disregard the obvious. I might be Laura Carlyle in drag.
My social secretary and companion.
No need. I overheard from the balcony. Welcome to Turkey Island. A most unusual portrait.
How good of you to accept my invitation. I'd know you anywhere, Mr. and Mrs. Carlyle.
Hey, not necessarily. They could be the cook and helper you're expecting.
We're going to have such a good time. Oh, I see you brought your little dog.
We couldn't didn't bring our real Bowell.
Get seasick.
I said to Laura, who's gonna know it's Rick and Laura Carlisle without their pooch, Napoleon?
Almost anyone.
Do make yourselves comfortable.
Yeah, sherry and warm biscuits, shot me.
Welcome, welcome, Mr. Flimsy. Delighted to have you on Turkey Island.
I could hardly resist a weekend at any establishment with the name Ravenswood Manor. It conjures up pictures of the English moors. Dark, brooding, mysterious.
Oh, you talk the way you write. Splendid. My spinal fluid has turned to frost.
Isn't he the continental gentleman, Laura?
One of a vanishing breed, Rick.
Yeah, well, don't look sanitary to me. Some guy slobbering all over a dame's knuckles.
I detect the dubious charm of Chandler Marlowe.
Park it here, Flimsy.
Are we all here?
I believe so.
No, Miss Mabel, what is one more?
One more?
Charity Hayes.
Oh, silly of me, I forgot. Don't keep us waiting, Miss Hayes. Come in.
That Cherry
Come
Hayes
in,
is
Charity.
some woman. Where do you see it?
Come on in, baby.
Oh, you got
I don't think my sniffles are clearing up, Miss Maple. I think I'm coming down with something.
Where's Charity Hayes?
Who?
The other lady on the boat.
What's in this from his hat?
She wasn't on the boat. We assumed she arrived earlier.
Oh, I've never had an invitation of mine ignored.
Maybe she'll come on the other boat.
Unless the storm blows up. Havisham, fetch refreshments.
Yes, ma'am.
I wonder who does her dresses.
I thought we'd just snack until dinner time. I hope you all like blue cheese fondue.
Blue cheese fondue.
I'll see that everything's prepared upstairs.
Thank you, Rita.
Interesting woman, Miss Islesborough. Has she been with you long?
Barely a month. Why do you ask?
When the moment is ripe, I shall harvest my deduction.
There's no need to act so mysterious, Mr. Chan. I mean, Fan.
Look, are we gonna sit around here and chew the fat?
Well, it's either that or blue cheese fondue.
Let's chew the fat.
Oh, please, dear guests. We mustn't get off the subject. There are ground rules.
I am concerned about the storm.
Oh, there's absolutely nothing to worry about. What was that?
I'll handle this.
Oh. Miss Maple! Miss Maple! Miss Maple!
What's wrong with that young woman?
Miss Maple! Miss Maple! Miss Maple!
She got a problem, she just advertising pancakes.
Havisham! Get hold of yourself!
She's hysterical.
I don't see anything amusing in her condition. Havisham, take a deep breath. Another. Good. Now tell us what happened. Why did you scream like that?
It's the only way I know how to scream.
No, I mean, what frightened you?
A face at the window.
Face at the window.
A man's face.
Can you describe him?
No. He had his nose pressed up against the window.
Oh, that's what you get for reading comics with gory covers. Probably the man from the boat.
No. I'd recognize him.
Perhaps it was a peeping Tom.
Ravenswood Manor would be unsuitable terrain. No one lives here except myself, Havisham, and Rita.
Oh, she got a point, Father.
Storms always frighten Havisham. Refreshments.
Yes, ma'am.
How long has Havisham worked for you?
Oh, not long. Why do you ask?
I seem to recall the face.
Oh, it's not one you'd forget in a hurry, especially in that dress.
Your attention, please. I will go over the ground rules, and then we can proceed with our charade. If none of you know me personally, and none of you do, you know of my reputation for amusing weekend parties. I am recognized as an outstanding hostess with a fine imagination for all that is bizarre and unique.
The same was said of Sherlock Holmes.
Then I am in first-rate company. You've all done well so far.
You could even tell us from our literary counterparts.
No, that's what makes it so charming. However, I insist that you keep up the little game at all times. I forbid you to use your real names. Oh, I'll be watching and listening. If the weekend turns out the way I trust it will, you will all receive wonderful news. News that will benefit you financially. I trust you're all willing to play along?
Yes.
Of course.
Why not?
Sounds like fun.
Wonderful idea.
I'm with you all the way, sister.
Oh, Chandler, you're a rare customer.
Yeah, well, I like to think of myself as well done. Wasn't that fun?
What's your game? You cannot be serious.
Rick is always serious when he hears the word financially.
Money, like sweet-smelling flowers, attracts the bumblebees.
Hey, you calling us bumblebees?
If shoe fits.
Well, bumblebees don't wear shoes.
Figure of speech, Chandler. Dreadful syntax, but colorful, typical of the amusing Louis fan.
May I ask something?
Go right ahead, sister.
Why are we all talking like this? Miss Maple's out of the room.
How do you mean?
We can relax, be ourselves, and talk normally.
I am talking normally. This is why I always talk.
Quite.
I wear this collar, but my speech is my own.
Man who loses identity seldom finds self.
Whatever that means.
Laura and I aren't any different here than we are in our fashionable East Side Manhattan apartment. Isn't that right, Napoleon? Another nut.
Miss Maple is a most enterprising woman. She is, as the vulgarism goes, filthy rich. If she wishes another famous scalp on her party list, I'll volunteer mine. I'll enjoy humoring her.
Most generous.
Who are you kidding, Flimsy? Sure, the old Maple Dame is famous for her weekend house parties. But the way I hear it, she could open up a chain of bookstores.
Bookstores?
Detective bookstores.
Detective bookstores?
Yeah, of course, none of you knew this now, did you? Come on! We're all here for the same thing. And believe me, it ain't to sample the blue cheese fondue.
Forget the fondue.
Yeah, well, that won't be easy.
So in other words, what you're saying is that we're all here to win Miss Maple's favor?
Thus ensuring our detective novels a place on the shelves, as it were.
That's the name of the game.
Well, what of it? I don't imagine the Charity Hayes books are going to be on Miss Maple's shelves. Business is business, and if Miss Maple wants to play games before placing an order with the publishers, I say why not?
Bravo.
Laura, I imagine you're glad of this. Most of your stuff is out of print.
If you weren't a man of the cloth, I'd have a few choice words for you.
Hey, that ain't nothing. Fans' novels ain't doing much better. Believe me, the Nostalgic Book Club even turned them down.
Beware of the dragon's wrath.
Hey, the only thing dragging about you, pal, is your book sales.
Now, this is no way to start a weekend. This should be a light and a happy occasion. How about some music?
Good idea. I'll get something. I hope the storm won't cause any interference. The static may be heavy.
We interrupt this program of light chamber music to bring you a special bulletin. A dangerous murderer has escaped from the Marin County Institute for the Criminally Insane, known only as the Killer of 40 Faces. The prisoner seized a rowboat at dawn and was last seen heading into a fog bank on the approach to Turkey Island. Now, back to our Mozart concerto.
Can it be true?
What about mysterious face maid saw at window?
40 faces, now there's a master of disguise.
Sherry and warm biscuits?
My congratulations, Miss Maple.
What are you talking about?
A classic touch. I've used it several times in my own novels.
Isolated home on Lonely Island, then suddenly a radio or television flash. Mad killer on the prowl.
You're too clever for me. Still, I did think it was amusing.
It was wonderful.
Fabulous.
Too kind, too kind. It's not easy to fool detective writers. Havisham, serve the sherry.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's hear it again.
By all means, it was most amusing.
Hey, I couldn't have done better myself.
Witty, that's what it was, Miss Maple.
Here it goes.
I accuse.
Oh dear, that's not it.
I accuse.
Get it like you had it last time.
It's all there is.
Step back from the console.
Ooh.
I don't understand.
Chandler Marlowe.
Me?
Chandler Marlowe, I accuse you of a foul crime. You cannot escape your past.
Foul crime?
It's a gag, right, sister?
Louis Fan, remember that night in Shanghai? I accuse you of treachery.
I have never visited illustrious city of Shanghai.
Rick and Laura Carlyle, what does the name Tulip mean to you both? I accuse you of unforgivable deceit.
Tulip? Tulip?
I think I recognize that voice.
Father White.
I was invited.
And shaming your calling.
Well.
Peter Flimsy, what actually happened on the cricket field at Eton?
Eton? Eton? I haven't been there in years.
I accuse you of dishonor.
Shall I serve the sherry?
Hold your tongue. Are you buddy?
Sorry, it's my nerves.
Charity Hayes, I accuse you of murder.
Murder? Murder? I don't know anything about any murder. What are you all looking at me for? I'm not Cherry Hayes.
You have heard the accusations. You cannot escape. You will be punished.
I'm telling you, it's a gag.
Miss Maple,
Yes?
what is the real secret of Ravenswood Manor?
Is that all?
That is all.
I can't get anything. It's all static.
Aha! You've outdone yourself, Miss Maple.
Very original.
Effective, theatrical, once again a classic. I used the same technique in my bestseller, Crime at Coffin Corner.
And I used it in Murder at the Masquerade.
Respectful submit to my title, serialized in several popular magazines. Crime is a puzzler.
Hey, don't forget, I used the gimmick in Murder Marks Up.
Laura and I employed the accusing murder ploy in our clever and sophisticated Manhattan murders.
I think I'd like to go to my room now.
That sounds sensible. I could do with a slap of aftershave.
Point the way, sister.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, of course you are. I forgot our charade for a moment. Up the stairs, through the hallway, you'll find your names on your doors.
Thanks a lot. Nice place you got.
A most delightful interlude, honorable hostess.
Thank you, Mr. Moto.
Fan.
Fan?
His name is Fan, Miss Maple.
Oh, yes, yes, of course.
May I present the question?
Please do.
Man in portrait. Honorable ancestor?
Yes, yes, my father.
His name, please.
His name? Mr. Maple.
Most compelling face, your father. Please to be excused.
What should I do with these biscuits? They're getting stale.
Why didn't you tell me about that last tape?
I thought you put on the tape.
Don't be foolish. My tape was the first tape.
They were scared, you guess.
You noticed that too?
They tried to hide it, but I know a room full of scared pigeons when I see it.
Oh, we're in for a bad time with this storm, I'm afraid.
The lights might go.
I'm right here, Miss Maple.
Rita, why didn't you tell me about that tape?
You mean the one you put on the machine?
No, the one accusing my guests of dark crimes.
Oh,
Rita, why? What's in the hat box?
nothing.
Then why carry it?
I'd better check on the supplies the motorboat unloaded on the dock.
She's acting strangely.
Weird customer, that one. I keep an eye on her if I were you.
Well, you're not me. Come along to the kitchen. I want to check on the fondue.
Yes, ma'am.
mentioned something about, cherry and biscuits. We'll help ourselves to one of these, Napoleon. And we'll take a glass of sherry. Is anyone about?
I didn't know you were down here, Mr. Carlisle. I thought you were with the others.
I was upstairs just a moment ago. Came down a moment ago. You've been outside.
I was going to the dock, but it's raining heavily, and the wind is up.
What's in the hat box?
What would you expect to find in a hat box? Sir.
Strange lady. Oh well, Napoleon. We'll enjoy our sherry and biscuit. A little sherry, Napoleon? Very good, very good. Oh, Napoleon, you're such the messy one. Slobber, slobber, slobber. A little more.
Suppose he was yelling about?
Sounded like he was in pain.
Maybe he got into the fondue.
Most curious.
What is?
One biscuit missing, one glass with sherry gone.
What of it?
We heard a scream.
All the way to the kitchen.
Perhaps you could enlighten us, Miss Maple.
About what?
Missing glass of sherry and absent biscuit.
Who's he?
Louis Fan, a well-known Oriental detective.
Not him.
Holy cow, terrific.
Oh, it can't be.
Don't look, Mrs. Carlisle.
Whatever you think best.
Is he dead?
Dead?
How dead?
How dead can you get?
The voice at the window. The voice on the radio. It said we would be punished. As if one of those figurines has moved. Sure, you just dropped it.
Broken.
It is broken.
I think I understand.
Understand what? We got a dead one here.
Most classic. As each of us is punished, a figurine will fall from the mantle.
What does that matter? We got a dead one.
9 in this room, 9 figurines on the mantle.
3.
Explain, please.
There aren't 9 figurines on the mantle. There are only 3.
Only 3? Must readjust deductions.
What does that matter? We got a dead guy lying here.
This isn't turning out as I had planned. Chandler, what does it all mean?
It means murder, Miss Maple.
Murder!
Murder on Turkey Island. Hey, the only thing I want to catch is the killer.
You quite sure the poor fella's dead?
Who, the killer?
No, I mean Rick.
Yeah, Flimsy and me, we stretched him out down in the wine cellar. Believe me, Father, he ain't going nowhere. That dead don't walk.
My. I fear Miss Maple's little charade is taking a nasty turn.
Nasty turn. I never saw a murder that wasn't nasty. Nasty murders are my business.
You're used to crime in the streets.
Yeah, the streets are my beat. These fancy dumps like Ravenswood Manor. A bit too rich for my blood.
Am I intruding?
No, my dear. Do join us.
Oh, don't get up.
Did you get any sleep, baby?
Dropped off the minute my head hit the pillow.
Yeah, grief does that.
Chandler, you're all wet.
Yeah, I know. I've been outside. The storm's torn up the potting. I'll tell you, if the cook and helper get here, my name ain't Chandler Marlowe.
Your name ain't Chandler Marlowe? I mean, really.
Yeah, well, you're a real stickler for details, Padre.
I suppose you're both wondering why I've taken Rick's demise so lightly.
Well, you know, you ain't exactly used up a box of Kleenex with the waterworks.
Well, the truth of the matter is, Rick and I have been estranged for some time. Would you like to hear about it?
No.
Not really, Laura. Domestic troubles are quite beyond my control. Man of the cloth and all that.
Look, if personal things should be get personal, I ought to know. I look through enough keyholes.
If you insist.
I didn't...
Rick was involved with another woman. Or, more correctly, another woman was interested in Rick.
Hey, dames will get you every time.
Did you know the creature?
Rick or the other woman?
The other one.
In a way, I had a private investigator investigate her.
So? What sort of a person was she?
Fascinating, I suppose, but unscrupulous. Her name was Mabel Dupre.
So what is it now?
What are you talking about?
Well, you said her name was Mabel Dupree. What is it now?
That's a stupid question, Chandler.
Well, let me have a stupid answer.
A leopard doesn't change its spots. I imagine her name is still Mabel Dupre.
Well, with the
Moves around, never stays long in one place. He did come up with one thing of interest, though.
No.
She had a violent temper.
Ooh, sounds like my kind of woman.
I can see the attraction, though. Mabel Dupre, the flame, and Rick Carlisle, the moth.
Yeah, Father, only he got burned. Bad.
Classic tragedy.
Oh, I loved that man of mine. He'd be by my side today if it weren't for that vampire.
Speak about vampires. Miss Maple's library has a fine collection of novels. Some are quite ghoulish.
Not my kind of stuff. I cover the pavement.
Do you think she might be mixed up with your husband's death?
Miss Maple?
No, Mr. Gray.
A woman like that is capable of anything.
Well, did you ever cross paths with her, if you can remember?
Never set eyes on her. But I did hear her voice.
When?
Where?
In my contemporary Manhattan apartment. Weeks ago, before the invitation arrived, the phone rang and I answered. And the operator said person-to-person call from Mabel Dupre to Rick Carlisle.
So,
And I heard her voice.
What'd she say?
She said hello.
What did you say?
I said, if you know what's good for you, you will never try to contact my husband again. Or else.
Or else what?
I'd rather not say.
This is all so distressing. Fun and games are one thing, but murder is quite another.
Hey, men, sister, murder ain't no parlor game.
Chandler, you're all wet.
Yeah, I know. I've been outside.
Obviously. What am I going to do?
There's no telephones anywhere in the house?
None. No wireless or citizens band either.
Yeah, well, it's a cinch no boat's gonna get here till the morning.
What about poor Rick Carlisle?
Well, believe me, he ain't going nowhere. You're supposed to be outside helping me look around. Oh, we know the killer's out there looking for another victim.
You mean he may strike again?
He or she, the female species, is the deadly one. Chandler, you're all... Oh, don't say it, will you please? I'll give you a knuckle sandwich.
Your sort would resort to brute force.
Hey, it's been a secret to my success.
If brute force were all, Tiger would not be a scorpion.
Oh, there you go again, talking about bugs.
Mr. Molto, have you discovered anything that would shed light on this terrible affair at Ravenswood Manor?
Fan.
What?
Fan.
His name is Fan. You called him Moto.
Did I? How peculiar.
Please, to enter.
You have discovered something.
Please be seated, Miss Maple. We'll presently name murderer of once semi-famous Rick Carlisle.
What?
Who?
Incredible.
But how?
Patience. All will be revealed.
I have a strong feeling, Mr. Wong, that the murderer's name will begin with the letter M.
Fan!
What?
His name is Fan. You called him Wong.
I didn't say he was wrong. I said the murderer's name would begin with the letter M.
Not wrong. Wrong.
This is getting us nowhere. I do hope the suspense will last.
Look, the man we need here is Farrell Link.
Who?
Top police detective in the Frisco Force.
I'm not unfamiliar with his name. However, since he doesn't write detective fiction, he's not on my list of invitees.
What's all this business about the letter M?
Deceased was mixed up with some other doll.
Mabel Dupre.
Please, know nothing of letter M.
It comes right after L. Sorry.
Why should this Dupre woman want to poison Mr. Carlyle?
I know her sort. Unpredictable, quick-tempered, and dangerous. A woman like that will stop at nothing.
Well, what's her motive?
Obvious. Rick preferred me and told her so. Mabel Dupre vowed vengeance.
Proof.
No proof, women's intuition.
Come on, women's intuition ain't no substitute for logic.
Must get Choo-Choo back on track. Clue is in the recording. The killer knew each of us. Intimately.
If you mean the accusation, I don't know what the fellow was talking about. I am here only because I was invited.
Killer hates detective mystery writers. Shall now name murderer. You.
Oh, you're nuts.
You are murderer!
Miss Maple's father.
Correction, please. That is portrait of famed historian Ludwig Flush.
But what would Ludwig Flush want to do us harm?
Early in his career, Ludwig Flush published detective novels under the pen name of Antonia Cheddar. Failed miserably, turned psychotic, and devoted life to the subject of ancient history.
You mean his sense of frustration was so fierce that he had punished successful detective writers?
Hey, I heard him read the customers.
Well, where is he now?
In-house.
What?
Here?
At Ravenswood?
I know. He must have been the face at the window.
Could be.
Not possible.
Why not?
Ludwig Flush confined to wheelchair due to advancing age.
A fine theory, but it won't hold water.
Have proof.
Like this coat I'm wearing, it's damper than a lunch counter rag.
What kind of proof, I wonder?
I'm afraid Mr. Wong gets carried away. He does that in his writings, too. Never could make any sense of his nonsense. One finds more clarity in a fortune cookie.
Behold, incriminating evidence.
A wheelchair? What can that prove?
Miss Mabel, why did you lie? Why you say man in portrait was dishonorable father?
I had no idea it would come to this.
You mean Ludwig Flush is your father?
I don't mean anything of the sort. I don't know any deranged person by the name of Ludwig Flush.
A portrait!
Oh, if you must know, there's a hole in the fireplace wall. The portrait fit perfectly, so I used it for a covering.
Where did you get the portrait?
Where do I get all my interesting pieces? At a garage sale.
Garage
sale? Your entire line of reasoning is absurd.
But wheelchair. Maybe it'll help. What's written here?
What does it say, kid?
Property of United States Coast Guard.
Coast Guard?
If found, please return to nearest federal lighthouse station?
If it doesn't belong to Ludwig Flush, then how did it get here?
All sorts of flotsam and jetsam washes up on the beach. It's kept in the cellar, but Mr. Fan thought it should be brought upstairs to aid in his ridiculous theory.
Must readjust deductions. A most unique case.
Caversham, get that thing out of here.
Yes, ma'am.
upstairs mixed windows might blow open. Damage could be done to the expensive Oriental.
Expensive Oriental? You can pick up a Louis Fair novel for 2 bits.
I meant the Oriental carpet. It's rare.
And so are you, sugar.
Go along, Rita, and take your hat box with you. You're always leaving it about.
Yes, ma'am.
I trust we all realize we could have been wiped out.
You mean if we ate the biscuits?
The poison was in the biscuits?
Hey, wait a minute, I'll give you 3 to 1 on that sherry. That stuff will kill you even if it hasn't been poisoned.
Do we fully grasp the seriousness of the situation?
Cut off from the mainland.
The storm?
No communication.
We're facing the window walking around.
I think it's a good idea if we didn't eat or drink anything until the morning.
Until morning?
Until the storm ebbs, then we can signal a passing boat.
If still alive.
The poison was not in the biscuits or the sherry.
We all saw the half-empty glass and half-bitten biscuit.
Stand up if you would, Mrs. Carlyle.
Oh, a touch of the master himself, Sherlock Holmes.
Magnifying glasses have become quite sophisticated since the days of London fog and hansom cabs. This one, for instance, magnifies 20 times. It can also identify odors.
Amazing.
It is a capital mistake to theorize before one has all the evidence.
So what?
So if you look right here, you'll see what I mean. There's the spot. See it?
It looks like a little needle.
Correct.
Let me have a look at that.
Rick Carlyle was murdered by a poisoned dart.
Dart?
I discovered the dart about an hour ago. Since it entered the body at an almost straight angle, I surmised it came from the painting, or rather, as Miss Maple has explained, through the hole in the wall.
Hey, you know something? Flimsy's right. One eyeball's missing.
We're up against a clever killer.
Either clever or mad. How do we know some lunatic didn't get wind of this weekend party and decide to go on a murderous lark?
Oh, you're letting your imagination run away with yourself, my dear.
Am I? Do you realize I've been sitting in that chair?
Oh, good heavens. You could have been scratched.
You want to get yourself out of this one, Flimsy?
I removed the vicious little dart, analyzed the poison, and returned the miniature weapon for the purpose of recreating the murder method. Without the poison, it's harmless.
Well, I'll give you credit. You're no man's fool.
I appreciate that, Chandler.
All right, look, and I still think we ought to case this island.
I'm ready.
Come on, let's go.
I'm terrified. What man could have done such a thing?
Aren't you forgetting something, Miss Maple?
What's that?
Poison is a woman's weapon.
Come on, will you, before he gets away?
I should see to matters in the kitchen, but I'm frightened of every shadow.
Would allow my humble protection?
Oh, thank you, Dan. I appreciate that.
The name is Fan. Oh, what's the use?
Laura, I think it's a wise idea if we stay together.
You mean safety in numbers?
Precisely.
I don't see how that's going to protect us from flying darts coated in poison.
Still, we must admit the killer was a villain of imagination. No pistol shots for this chap.
You're convinced the killer's male?
Rogue male, perhaps. Time will tell.
Well, then if your theory is correct, then you could be the killer.
My dear child, you're distraught.
Or Chandler Marlowe, or Peter Flimsy, or Louis.
Laura, calm yourself.
Stay away from me!
someone.
I do that when I'm nervous.
Would you like a sedative? You must be exhausted.
Sleep is the last thing I want. At least when I'm awake, I know I'm alive.
Oh, poor Miss Maple. She was so counting on a fun weekend.
It's a raging success if you have a morbid sense of humor.
I want to confide in someone.
About what?
Haversham. She's on parole. Imprisoned because of some unpleasantness with a hatchet.
Haversham. Hatchet? Of course I recall the case.
Be on guard.
I appreciate you telling me. Oh, Rita, don't forget your hat box.
What's that? There's a helicopter overhead.
A helicopter?
I'm down in the police. We're saved.
The lights will be ready to go. I don't know, but I saw them put a ladder down. I saw her swinging the globe.
A ladder? You mean they're letting someone down in this way?
That would be insane. It wouldn't be cool hardly enough for the Central House of Murder.
Charity, baby! Hey! Still a model, remember me? I know you anywhere. New Orleans.
Charity Hayes isn't your ordinary face in the crowd.
A helicopter? I don't understand.
I missed the boat. This might be ungracious of me, but I could do with a hot bath.
I'll prepare one.
Thank you.
I'm your hostess right here. And this is Mr. Peter Flimsy. And Mr. Louis Fan.
Excuse me, could we hold the introductions till after the bath?
Anything you say. Come along, I'll show you through your room. I'm delighted that you've arrived. You live up to your reputation.
Oh, don't suppose I could...
What a woman. She's a package of dynamite, that Cherry.
A remarkable young lady.
Exceptional. What's the matter with you, Laura?
That voice. That voice. I'd know it anywhere. Mabel Dupre.
actually, it was kind of muggy. I got mildew all over my gumshoes.
I must say I'm terribly disappointed with Louis Fan. All that stuff about Ludwig flushed in the wheelchair. Lucky for him, the hero of his books isn't so dense.
I never read much of him. He's too soft for me. I like my crime hard-boiled.
Murder is not an egg, Chandler.
Hey, bad eggs stink and so does murder. There's been a murder in this house and it stinks.
I had Rita throw an embroidered bedsheet over the dead man. I thought it was the least I could do.
Well, you're a gracious dog.
I can be gracious and I can be resolute.
Oh, I feel like a human being thanks to that hot tub.
Yeah, well, you look like a human being, baby. My kind of human being.
Chandler says you two met in Louisiana.
Yes, at Mardi Gras.
How romantic.
I didn't think so. The weather was muggy and I got mildew on my platforms.
You know, let me tell you something. I can admire any girl that arrives at a weekend house party in a height of a storm in a helicopter.
Don't call me a girl, Chandler. I'm all woman.
Yeah, well, you can say that again, baby.
You heard me the first time.
I was annoyed when you didn't arrive on the boat, but then I was relieved.
Relieved?
Now that we're all apparent targets for some deranged killer.
You mean Rick Carlisle?
Oh, he's not the killer. He's the victim.
Well, what's anybody doing about it?
Now, we're doing what we can. We're not eating or drinking anything.
Mr. Fan made some preposterous deductions that did nothing but cloud the issue. The man is a buffoon.
True.
Well, everyone seems to be taking the murder calmly.
I'm not taking it calmly. I've been down to the wine cellar.
So what of it?
There's a body down there.
Naturally, there's a body down there.
All right, naturally.
He's dead. If you don't understand, he's really dead.
Father, you been sampling any of the wares down that cellar?
I thought it was just a game. Just the part of the charades. I thought he'd come back and tell us it was all a joke.
Murder is never a joke.
Murder!
Father White, you better sit down. You're weak in the kneecap.
I am a little distraught. Fun and games are one thing, but...
Yeah, I know, but murder's something else. Sit down.
I like realism as well as fantasy in my little games. But I trust you don't believe I'd stoop so low as murder.
I don't know what to believe anymore.
Almost like black ink.
Oh,
See a thing.
murder!
What's the matter with him?
It just got to him that the corpse in the wine cellar is a corpse.
Would you mind explaining that?
Real murder!
Yeah, and it's the worst kind, too. Incurable.
Looks as if you're gathering for a council of war.
I've asked the others to join me. I do wish they'd get here.
Honorable hostess requests, honorable guest replies.
Do shut up.
Let me tell you something, too, Louis. I don't think Oriental people talk the way you do.
Where is Laura? Why isn't she here?
Well, Miss Maple, she had a bit of a shock.
Shock?
Yes, somebody murdered her husband.
Yeah, she took that standing up. I don't mean her husband.
He means you, Miss Hayes.
What have I got to do with Laura Carlisle? I don't even know the lady. Read some of her books. Not my brand at all.
No, you're like me with your ear to the city's asphalt.
You leave my ear out of it.
There you are. Come and join us.
I'll sit over here.
As you wish.
So, you got something on your mind, Miss Maple?
I told you, Chandler, I can be gracious and I can be resolute.
Well, let's hear the resolute.
Quite. Ladies and gentlemen, I must apologize for the strange turn of events at Ravenswood Manor.
Why, it's not your fault.
The point I wish to emphasize exactly. I hope no one thinks I would stoop so low as to engineer this misfortune.
Why would we even think such a thing?
You mean we might suspect that you were out to publicize your new chain of bookstores?
What bookstores?
That's no secret, is it? Isn't that why we're all here? To make sure our books are on the shelves?
I am here as tranquil weekend guest. Nothing more.
Nonsense.
You go right to the heart of the matter, Charity.
I don't see any reason to pussyfoot.
So you all knew what I was planning.
So what if we did know? No harm done, is there?
Why don't we ask Rick?
Rick? Rick who?
man in the cellar.
As Mr. Fan would say, must get choo-choo back on track. My reputation as a hostess has been impeccable.
Until now.
Alas, we have no choice but to remain on the island until morning. Is that correct, or isn't it?
Correct. Believe me, we're stuck here till the morning.
Well, I will not have my party ruined by an unknown killer whose motive or motives are as yet unrevealed.
Huh?
I will not bow down to any sinister force. Nothing will change. The charade will continue. Oh, forgive me, I didn't mean to get carried away.
Why? Continue.
I want the killer found so he can be punished. Murder is one thing, but the ruination of a weekend party at Ravenswood Manor is quite another.
That's well and good, Miss Maple. But we're all detective writers, not police.
Oh, the police would only bungle the case. Besides, Mr. Flimsy has already shown remarkable talent in deduction.
Hey, I've been prowling around the set myself.
You do have a great deal of faith in us.
Oh, I've already explained my theory. Detective mystery butlers create sleuths like themselves.
Only more so.
Exactly! I've invited you all here because you're the best in your field. Prove it. Find the gatecrasher. Let his apprehension be a warning to all other social bores.
I wouldn't call a murderer a social bore.
Who but a bore would do such a thing?
Hey, one good thing we can get out of this, though. At least we can get a good yarn out of it.
Yarn?
A book. I already got a title. Murder Walks the Fog.
Island of Evil.
Mystery in San Francisco Bay.
The corpse in the wine cellar.
Mad Weekend.
The sooner the beast is caught, the sooner we can hand the fellow over to the police with a minimum of publicity.
Publicity like door. Works both ways.
Then we are agreed. We will not bow down to the intruder. The charade will continue.
As you wish.
However,
Yes?
to assure you that I am not frivolous in my desire to catch this monster, I will award an honorarium to the one who smokes him out.
How much?
$25,000.
$25,000?
You have until sunrise.
I think she means it.
Ah, she means it.
She won't stand for anyone disrupting her weekend house party.
If I find the intruder, I wouldn't be adverse to publicity.
No, your kind never is.
My kind.
Why are we all standing here talking? There's the killer. She's the one. Mabel Dupre.
Mabel who?
Easy, baby. That's not the Mabel thing. It's Charity Hayes. Take my word for it.
Don't let the phony wig fool you. It's Mabel, I tell you.
No way.
Mabel? Mabel?
You're making a mistake.
Give me that wig!
Hey, wait a minute.
You hold that
Let me get
Give me the wig!
Do something, Chandler.
Jeez, wait a minute.
Give me the wig! It's my own head, you idiot! Thanks, Charlie. Thank you, Charlie.
All about.
You'll have to forgive her. She's not herself.
She mistook you for arch rival, infamous Mabel Dupre.
At least you packed. You still pack a mean wallop, sugar.
I can take care of myself, Chandler.
I think we're making a great mistake.
In what way?
I think the clue is in the recording.
If it is, there's a woman behind it. I feel it.
Come on, with the woman's intuition again.
In other words, Laura, you mean cherchez les femmes.
Huh?
Find the woman.
What woman?
It was that famous literary detective, Monsieur Jacquel in Dumas' The Mohicans of Paris, who first used the phrase.
Who?
Wearing his green spectacles and constantly dipping in his snuff box, forever saying, cherchez les femmes.
Huh?
Then you believe me.
Surely you all know that Monsieur Jacquel was the literary ancestor of all the great ferrets, from Victor Hugo's Javert
Victor who?
to Doyle's Holmes, and years before Hawkshaw.
What's a ferret?
What's a hawkshaw? What are you talking about?
Your education in the history of detectives is sadly lacking.
Interesting you use word history. Suggests name of man in portrait, Ludwig Flush.
Interesting, but it's not getting us anywhere.
I understand the recording accused me of murder.
Yeah.
Easily explained.
How?
Well, since I never murdered anyone, well, anyone real, that is, it had to have referred to a popular character in one of my books.
Hey, wait a minute, I remember. You had a great character by the name of Jumbo. Great gumshoe.
I got bored with him, so I knocked him off in print. There was a public outcry. The critics said I murdered Jumbo.
In much the same manner, Doyle caused a sensation when he killed off Sherlock Holmes.
I still don't see where it's getting us. It's getting us nowhere.
Not sure I can agree. A most interesting explanation. Suggests other possibilities.
It's getting chilly. I thought someone might eat an Afghan. I'll put them in the bedrooms, too.
We won't be doing much sleeping.
Gets chilly on the island.
First time I ever saw her without her hat box.
Curious you should mention hat box. Recalls case of headless horseman.
Oh, yeah, wait a minute. I remember that one, too. It was at the Kentucky Derby. A jockey was bumped off by his girlfriend.
Why do they call him the Headless Horseman?
You mean?
You mean?
You mean?
Miss Islesparrow looks amazingly like missing girlfriend, a female addicted to hats. Note the similarity as soon as I entered Ravenswood Manor.
I'm not worried about the missing girlfriend. I'm worried about the missing... Oh.
Don't say it, my dear. It's too dreadful to contemplate.
She could be the lunatic killer.
Look, we need a plan of action here. Some kind of plan of attack.
What do you suggest?
All right, I'll tell you what. Charity and me, we're going to tackle the wine cellar. Louis, you take Father White. Go upstairs and cover it with a fine tooth comb.
Do not possess such an article. A fine tooth comb. A small joke.
Believe me, if it was a big joke, it wouldn't be any funnier.
What about me?
I'll take Laura with me. We'll check around outside.
All right.
Is that wise?
I think we'd better stick in pairs.
I mean, going outside. The storm.
Yeah, well, just keep thinking about 25 grand, sugar.
Let's go outside.
Come along, Louis.
You lead, I follow.
Stay close.
Charity?
Yes.
I'm sorry about the wig.
So's my scalp.
So, Charity, alone together at last.
Keep your mind on your work.
Look, I mean, come on. I want to kiss for old times. So you come
so-
down this way here. Listen, Charity, don't play so hard to get. All right, I'll tell you what. I'll stand here with my eyes closed, all puckered up, just like before. You call that a kiss?
I ain't no lover girl.
You! Where's Charity?
If she went to the wine cellar, she won't get in.
Why not?
I locked it.
Well, you can unlock it.
He's by the door.
We'll get it. Jeez.
Haversham? Hello? Anybody about? Here. What's that? Harvey, have to quiet my nerves.
wake her?
No, let her rest. You need as much of it as you can get.
People murder for one of three reasons, Chandler.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Profit, revenge,
So what's the third?
I forget. But it will come to me.
We've looked everywhere, got an intruder inside.
Or maybe the others have found something outside.
Not so, they remain upstairs.
Well, they were supposed to remain outside.
The rain forced them in.
All right.
What did you two discover?
There's an embroidered bed sheet over the dead man.
Perhaps killer, in gesture of contrition, placed embroidered bedsheet over deceased.
A little bit extravagant. Why wouldn't they use a plain bedsheet?
Suggest we consider motive of placing embroidered bedsheet over cooling body of Rick Carlisle. Possibly will lead to killer's identity.
You guys belong in a museum. The old doll had Rita throw the linen over the victim. That's all. Pocket here, sugar.
One less clue to consider.
Louis, you couldn't find yourself in the dark.
It's not raining so much as it was before.
You gotta watch that Havisham when you ain't looking. She sneaks up and steals a kiss.
I don't steal. I don't steal anymore. I'm reforming.
What are you talking about?
Hello? What's the matter with her?
Oh, bless me, I didn't see her sitting there.
She's awful still.
Oh, please don't wake her. She's exhausted.
Is it any wonder?
Where's Flimsy?
Washing his hands.
Out, Gunspot! Out, I say!
Huh?
Shakespeare, Act 5, Scene 1. Lady Macbeth attempts to wash the blood of guilt from her hands.
Huh?
Why would man wash hands after entering from storm?
Maybe they were dirty. She doesn't look right to me.
Napping, I tell you.
Miss Maple, who we've been talking about?
Should we wake her?
Nah, let it be. Old people need their sleep. Any luck? Nah.
We've discovered actually nothing.
It's another one.
Another what?
Another figurine fell off the mantle. It's broken like the first one.
Most unusual.
Look, does anybody have any ideas? About what? About anything.
Why don't we get up a rubber bridge?
Splendid idea.
Might relieve tension.
Count me in.
I'll be dummy.
Outrageous! Didn't any one of you realize I was murdered?
We thought you were asleep.
Shots rang out. I was slumped over. A figurine fell from the mantel.
What is going on?
I'll tell you what's going on. You're a bunch of incompetents. I arranged to have Havisham fire some blanks to test your reactions, and alas, you all failed miserably. Ladies and gentlemen, you disappoint me profoundly.
You were carrying on with the charade, right?
That, Charity, is self-evident. Since everything else has proven slightly absurd, I am beginning to doubt that the gentleman in the cellar is truly deceased.
Oh, he's deceased.
Believe me, take our word for it.
I shall see for myself. Get the key, Havisham.
Yes, ma'am.
Idiots!
She's annoyed.
I do hope this doesn't mean she'll give up the idea of the bookstores.
Well, we better think up something to calm her down.
You must be container. We might eat that. No one could tamper with it.
I am hungry.
I'll see to it.
One moment. The name is Fan, not Tan. Louis Fan. Do you see this? This is a fan. It keeps one cool. Understand?
You have something to say to me?
Killer is one of us.
What?
You can't be serious.
How can you say that?
We'll explain.
Do.
Why would Sweetheart, a heartless jockey, take job at Ravenswood Manor?
You talking about the Kentucky murders again?
I am.
Louis, the guy wasn't heartless. He was headless.
Believe Miss Islesbarrow is jockey's sweetheart.
That's ridiculous.
Believe also that Rita Islesbarrow was sweetheart of Rick Carlisle, and when he wished to end friendship, was struck down, as was unfortunate jockey.
You mean?
There is your murderer.
You mean?
Fascinating and unscrupulous.
You mean?
Mabel Dupree.
What's everyone staring at?
You are Mabel Dupree. You murdered Rick Carlisle.
I don't want another mistake.
Here is photograph from newspaper of unhappy jockey and mad sweetheart.
Rubbish.
Let me see that. You went over the deep end this time.
Note positive resemblance. Case is solved.
Louis,
Yes?
please, the woman in this photograph is a black woman. Miss Islesborough is not a black woman.
What? A meatball. No wonder your books are going out of print.
Let's basic picture. You are not mad, sweetheart.
I might not be sweetheart, but I'm mad, furious, you fool!
Unless Hatbox belongs to jockey's killer.
Why are we all here talking about the Kentucky Derby when Miss Maple is angry with the lot of us? Rita, forgive this. What did you call him?
I called Mr. Fan a fool.
Forgive the fool. Would you please fetch Miss Maple from the wine cellar?
You're a menace. You ought to be locked up.
I gotta hand it to you, Louis. You're one in a million.
You do get carried away. Two wrong deduction in one evening is quite enough.
When all the hens cluck, who can hear the rooster?
All right, I gotta agree with Louis and Noah on one point.
What's that, Chandler?
The killer is one of us.
Why was Rick the only one to get
what?
the dart in that chair? Oh, I am sorry, Laura. No fair, though. I placed a piece of metal behind the portrait. The passageway that the deadly dart took has been sealed.
I wish you stopped talking like one of those lousy characters in your books.
If only the dawn would get here.
Give it time.
He's dead. Quite dead.
No kidding.
There can be no doubt about it.
I think I might be able to shed some light on this grisly affair.
Pitch in.
Have a shame.
What about her?
Rita, what I told you was in confidence.
I don't think we have a right to keep it secret any longer.
You mean about Haversham's police record?
How did you know?
I told Mrs. Carlisle.
Havisham isn't homicidal.
What about the unpleasantness with the hatchet?
Hatchet. Aha! We are back to Hatbox.
Nothing of the sort.
Havisham, Hatchet, I recall the case. Didn't she break into some safety deposit boxes by breaking through the bank's outside wall?
She made some such attempt.
But I didn't get away with it. And I done my time. And I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't talk about me when I wasn't in the room. It's only polite.
Murder and politeness seldom go together.
Will this cursed storm never end?
I can see where this is going to take a strong, logical hand. I think think I can shed some light too.
Please do.
We're all agreed that the murderer used the recording to lay out his plan.
Carlyle's demise was proof.
A proof of nothing except that he was marked for death. Remember what I was accused of?
Murder.
Yes, but murder only in the figurative sense. What about it, Louis? What about the night in Shanghai?
No, nothing.
Remember the stakes. Survival.
I'm thinking of something sinister.
What?
There's only one figurine left on the mantle.
If our killer's going to strike again, he'll have to do it before daybreak.
I hope no one's gonna say no one leave this room.
Night in Shanghai does not refer to holiday in Orient. Rival writer was to use it for title of new book. I used it first. He never forgave me.
My murder wasn't real. Night in Shanghai was nothing more than a book title. What about you, Mrs. Carlyle?
Me?
What does tulip signify?
No. Tulip was a dog. It was the sweetest little puppy you ever saw. Well, I wanted to buy him, but the pet shop owner refused. He was adamant. He was gonna sell him to this disagreeable and harsh army major, and I couldn't bear it. So Rick and I, we
dog nappers.
We changed Tulip's name to Napoleon so no one would know. We were always afraid. I mean, how would it have looked on the society page?
And what dark secret is yours, Chandler?
The recording said that you couldn't escape your past, that you were guilty of a foul crime.
Do I have to?
Chandler?
Well, all right, before I became a detective writer, I had another job. I was a...
You what?
I was a literary critic.
A critic? Oh, that is foul.
I told you I didn't tell you.
Well, there's no sense in asking me what happened on the playing fields of Eden. I haven't been there in years.
Don't you see? The recording is a joke. The crimes aren't crimes. Indiscretions, perhaps, but nothing more.
While I was playing little games here and there, someone else was doing the same with the recording.
That's my guess.
All right, I can buy it.
But who did it?
All right, let me figure this out now. All right. The recording on the murderer, we're not sure of one and the same. Okay, what's important, number one, is to find out the killer's identity, right? Okay. To know this house and knock off Carlyle, he had to know this house like the back of his hand, right?
Do you think it was the man in the dark glasses and scarf?
Who?
A moment before I was shot, he was in this room. Didn't I tell you?
No, you didn't mention it at all, no.
Oh, it must have slipped my mind. Do you suppose it was someone playing another little game, enjoying the charade?
All right, let me go with my deduction.
Oh, please do, Chandler. I have faith in you.
Okay, remember those two words when I was talking about motive opportunity? Motive
Oh, for
opportunity?
goodness sakes, Chandler.
Wait a minute.
What's that?
I got a button.
It's a telephone! There is no telephone on Turkey Island.
It's coming from over here.
On the desk.
There's no phone on that desk.
Try the drawer.
It's a red!
Ravenswood Manor.
Who is caller?
What did they say?
I'd rather not repeat what I heard. The language was very crude.
An obscene phone call at this hour?
Okay, remember those two words. Motive opportunity. Let me handle this. In a detective game, you're either a fizzle or a firecracker. All right, listen here, you pinhead. I got ways of tracing phone calls. You understand this? And when I find out who you are, I'm going to rearrange your face. That's right, you're going to be breathing through your navel. Oh, yeah? Is that right? Well, let me tell you something, pal. Just don't forget my name. Chandler Marlowe.
Mr. Marlowe, would you mind explaining?
This was, I did, when I had caught this on, I went to get the phone, and I put this over, all right, let me, wait a minute. I got the fucking ears on. want us to keep up with the gag, didn't you?
But the telephone did ring.
I got a relay buzzer in my pocket.
Shall I answer it?
Don't shut up, you silly girl.
Better tell it all, Chandler.
All right.
Rita, what do you have to do with this?
I'm Chandler's secretary.
You?
When Miss Maple advertised for a social secretary for a month, Chandler had me apply.
Look, I already had my invitation, so I figured it'd be a great time for some laughs.
Murder is never a laughing matter.
I kept Neil and Louie having them think that Rita did the jockeying, and he was going for it.
An interesting theory, but Louis Van not buying. That box undoubtedly contains blowdart gun which silenced Rick Carlisle.
Hey!
Behold, murder weapon!
What's in there?
A head.
A head?
Head of cabbage.
Cabbage?
I called you a fool before, and that's what you are. All part of the gag.
Head of cabbage is food for thought.
Everything seems to be falling into place.
You forgot one thing, Miss Hayes. Father White. He didn't confess to any indiscretion. Not only that, he knows this house inside and out.
Why do you say that?
Because I saw you coming out of that wall. There's a secret passageway back here.
Secret passageway, now we're getting somewhere.
Chandler is quite right. In detection, we always look for the unexpected. But with the naked eye, we cannot see the invisible snake in every glass of water.
What is he going on about?
Or the invisible crocodiles that swim in every spoonful of soup.
Soup?
Or the invisible dolphins that roam and play in every droplet of milk.
What are you getting at? I mean, stuff he puts in his books. Nobody can understand them.
I merely wish to point out we must employ a microscope of the mind when we investigate.
If you say so.
I suppose I can't continue the deception. The truth of the matter is, I'm not Father White.
Impossible.
Who are you?
I'm a strolling minstrel, you might say. I'm an actor.
I never invite actors.
They're doing a new radio series of Father White. I persuaded the real invitee to let me take his place, to test his impersonation, to get inside his mind, to act and react.
That's quite enough of that drivel. Invisible crocodiles, indeed.
But the secret passageway.
There's no secret passageway. The original owner had a flair for eccentric architecture. It leads up from the wine cellar.
Oh, is that where the other door is?
Didn't you know?
Ravenswood Manor isn't my home. I merely rented it for a few weeks for the purpose of this weekend party.
Listen.
Maybe this time it is the police.
Is it? Is that the clock? Maybe we can signal to the flare.
All right, out that way from the kitchen.
Signaling a helicopter will be our last chance.
We must get its attention.
Wait! Look!
Hey,
It's him, the man I told you about.
good God, it's Rick Carlisle.
Not possible. You're dead.
Hey, I never saw anyone dead.
I too thought of an amusing joke to play. Instead of one Rick Carlisle, it would be two.
Two?
Rick's twin brother. He's the one in the wine cellar.
I was hoping to confuse everyone.
You did.
Be in two places at one time. But somebody got to me first, and they finished me off.
You mean your brother?
That's right. Only the killer didn't know that he had made a mistake. So I decided to stay out of sight and learn what I could.
Well, what'd you learn?
Nothing.
I'll take it from there.
You are the murderer.
How can anybody be so consistently wrong?
You'll take what from here?
The investigation. I saw Carlisle talking with his brother in town. He was coming here, he had plans to rob. Flimsy owed me a favor or two, so he was no problem.
My brother was no good, that's true. He did seem to agree rather quickly. I should have suspected.
Pickings would be good, some jewels, some wallets, who knows what else.
If you're not Peter Flimsy, who are you?
Barrel Link.
Crack investigator in a Frisco Force.
That's San Francisco, and can't you get your foot out of that wastebasket?
All right, I did, all right.
Everything has been satisfactorily explained.
Not quite.
It was all a charming and delightful exercise in now you see it, now you don't.
Who killed the man in the wine cellar?
Maybe I can answer that.
Who are you, miss?
Mabel!
Mabel! Rick!
You are the murderer.
If you say that one more time, I'll murder you.
I mean business. I killed the wrong man the first time, but I won't make the same mistake a second time. Nobody leave this room.
Where is the real Havisham?
Probably in Canada by now. I gave her $200 to take her place.
Oh, I won't be able to give the parole people a very good report.
Nobody walks out on Mabel Dupre. What difference does it make if I kill another man? You're dead.
What a woman.
You're a wonder.
That's a police helicopter. It's flying around to see if I need assistance. It's gonna have an unexpected visitor. I'm taking you in, Mabel.
What? It's gone.
The storm has passed, and the hope of the Mayday will be here soon.
Come along, Mabel. You've got a date with the jury.
I won't have any problems. Not if there's 12 men on that jury.
I don't want to stay in this place another minute.
Let's get our luggage and let's get out of here.
Oh, I didn't bring any luggage. Maybe I can hitch a ride with Barrow Links. He's my kind of man.
So look. How do you like that? I should have known better than to trust a dame.
Rita, see if you can get something on the radio besides static. I do hope they send someone for the gentleman in the wine cellar.
I'm sure they will.
What a night. What a night.
We interrupt this program of light chamber music to bring you a special bulletin. A dangerous murderer has escaped from the Marin County Institute for the Criminally Insane, known only as the killer of 40 faces.
Turn it off, Rita. Oh, we don't want to go through that again.